Welcome to using formulas for surface area of 3D objects. And in lesson 1, we'll focus on prisms. So here we have a rectangular prism. We had previously found the surface area of this object using a net. So now we'll find the surface area without a net. We'll use a formula. So let's look at the formula. Surface area equals 2 times LW plus 2 times LH plus 2 times WH. So let's see what each of these variables represents. 2 times LW. Well, if you look at the diagram, here's L and here's W. So this represents the bottom of the rectangular prism. And then we multiply that by 2 because the top and the bottom are the same. Now we have 2 times LH. So L is on the bottom and H is the height. So that represents the side of the rectangular prism. And again, the two sides are equal, so we times by 2. Then we have 2 times WH. W is here on the bottom, H is the height. So this represents the front and the back of the rectangular prism. So it's important that you know what each of the variables represent in case you need to find the surface area of the box that don't have a lid, for example. You need to be able to adjust the formula. So now let's look at example 1. It says Walter's building a shed. How much material will he need? So let's start by writing out the formula for surface area of a rectangular prism. Because when you're building a shed, that's essentially what they're looking for, the surface area. Now in the diagram, 8 feet, I can call that the width. 8.5 feet, I'll call that the height, and 12 feet, I'll call that the length. So now I'm just going to substitute those values into the formula. So now 2 times 12 times 8 plus 2 times 12 times 8.5 plus 2 times 8 times 8.5. So now you can put that in your calculator and see if you get a value of 532 square feet. So that's how much material Walter will need for his shed. Now let's look at a triangular prism. Again, we had found the surface area previously using a net. Now let's look at the formula. So the formula says WH plus LW plus 2LS. So let's look at WH. So here is W and here is H. So what we're finding here is the area of the triangle. Now we know the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2, where in this case the base is W, H is the height, and we divide that by 2. But we got to consider the fact that there are 2 triangles, one in the front and one in the back, that are equal. So if I times that by 2, dividing by 2 and multiplying by 2 cancel. So that's where WH is coming from. It is the front and the back of the triangular prism. Now what is LW? So here is L and here is W. So LW represents the bottom of the triangular prism. Then 2LS. There's the length, and S is right here along this side. So that represents the side, and because the two side lengths here are equal, the two sides of the triangular prism equal. So that's where we get 2LS from. So now let's use that formula in example 2. It says Walter's going to add a roof to lay on top of his shed. It's in the shape of a triangular prism. Now how much material will he need? So let's write out the formula. WH plus LW plus 2LS. So this is W, 3 feet's the height, 12 is the length, and 5 is S. So let's substitute those values in. 8 times 3 plus 12 times 8 plus 2 times 12 and 5. So now on the calculator, I get 240 square feet. Now B says he's going to shingle the two sides of the roof. Let's see this side here and the other side. If a package of shingles covers 32 square feet, how many packages will he need to buy? Well, this is why we need to know what each variable in the formula represents. Because if I'm only looking at the two sides, I don't need the two triangles and I don't need the bottom. The only part of the formula I'm interested in is the 2LS. So that's 2 times 12 times 5, which is 120. So he needs 120 square feet. So if a package covers 32 square feet, how many packages does he need to buy? Well, let's divide to figure that out. 120 square feet divided by 32 square feet is 3.75. So now he can't go in and buy 3.75 packages. He will need to buy 4 packages.